minutes. Okay. All right. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And right. So if you're on TikTok, by the way, we'll never know when TikTok will go away. Hopefully it doesn't. But you know what? Check me out on the other channels. The at symbol, the handle, I guess you could say, is at Green Card Guys. All right. So let's get down to it. We have some success stories recently this week. What about three? If you have an H-1B case, we always, of course, file way before significantly before the deadline. We just got at least three or four approved this week. All right, so approved pretty quickly. I mean, in that situation, because we file with premium processing, employer is very nice to pay for that. Not every company pays for the premium part expedited processing. All right, other success news this week. Good news. We had an interview, I think, 2 days ago, Wednesday, and I-130 was approved. I think, yeah, that morning. I-130 approved that morning, and then later in the evening, I believe it was an evening. I'm trying to remember exactly. In the evening, it was the 485 was approved. Okay, so all within about 24 to 30 hours, it appears. All right, so if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. I'm here to share insights, share good news, share bad news, share things that you should know, even if maybe your attorney didn't answer for you. Okay. Now I'm not trying to hear like, if you already have an attorney, I wish you all the best. I'm happy to clarify some things, but at the end of the day, you have your own attorney. You should feel comfortable to ask your attorney. If you don't, then that might be a sign of something. All right. So I know there's some questions right there. Just some housekeeping. We do offer services, of course. We don't just do social media only, answer questions. But here's how to do that. Let me show you how to schedule. Okay. There we go. Okay, on YouTube, YouTube and Facebook, it should be showing correctly that the boxes are not blocking my face. If it is, please let me know. All right, so there are some questions that, please know, it does take quite a while to actually answer it. I know, of course, everyone says they have a quick question. The question is quick. The answer can be quite lengthy and detailed. So I wish I had a short answer for everything. But I try my best to go pretty quickly. Okay, so please know that, especially if you want to join live as a guest. Okay, to do that on TikTok, I think it's on this side. Let me know if I'm wrong. If you're on YouTube and Facebook, you have to email in for the link. Okay. All right. So, and please know on TikTok, it does hide some comments. Sometimes I can see them, sometimes I can't. So don't throw a fit if I don't see it. Okay. If let's put it this way, if you're on TikTok, just know the general rule, housekeeping here, is don't copy and paste questions, because it scrolls up the whole feed. Okay, then you're gonna make me take time to scroll down, then that's not cool. Because I don't work out my fingers. Let's see here. Jay on TikTok, what are the consequences of doing a marriage withdrawal? Okay, do you mean that you filed an application based on marriage and now you want to withdraw? I mean, generally speaking, then, I mean, assuming you're already overstayed, then you'll wait for some kind of, if you withdraw the application, then should not receive a decision that states this, because typically, even when you withdraw the application, it doesn't say, it wouldn't have said like you need to leave the United States, right? But when someone is denied the 485 application, it will have a statement that says you need to leave the United States immediately, right? That's when you definitely need to talk to a lawyer to see what your other options are. Now, they're very limited. Very limited. That's why if you're a person who is outside the United States now, please contact an attorney before you enter the U.S., even if you're intending to come here with a visa, okay? Because sometimes when people enter America with a visa, you're doing what you want to do, like tourism, whatnot, meeting your alleged Pookie Bear, and then time passes and then you overstay your visa. It's like shoulda, woulda, coulda. Should have talked to an attorney before. So if you have found the live show right now because of through the feed, whatnot, you're here for a reason. You found me. It was fed to you for a reason. Okay. All these apps know your entire life, essentially. Probably more so than ChatGPT or an AI tool. Okay. So if the feed showed you my channel, there's a reason. It has heard you. It has heard you complain. It has heard you talk about you filed a case or you're thinking about filing for a Pookie Bear. May have heard you talk about like how your ex was abusive or your employer was abusive. There are scenarios where we can help you. So, for example, who's that person? Jay. Jay, you talked about having that case withdrawal. I don't know if you're the sponsor or the immigrant, but assuming you're the immigrant, then who knows? Maybe there could be some abuse, emotional or physical. It doesn't have to be physical abuse only. So that the default option there is called VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, which is gender neutral. Okay. Anyone can apply for that. All right. So let's see. Next question here. Alexander, how long for 601A after approval? Been waiting since March 2024. After approval? Okay, you mean you got the I-130 approved and now you filed the I-601A? Okay, so I can share that. Let's see. Okay, 601A, so that takes about, thank you, join my fan club on TikTok. It's about 36 months, okay, about 3 years, unfortunately. Now, before the pandemic, you're going to think this is wild. Like, you would not believe this. But before the pandemic, it was not 36 months. It was about 8 months. Can you believe that? Somehow, suddenly, the pandemic changed a lot of things. Like, and aren't we 5 years out from the pandemic now? So they can't always give the excuse that there's not enough people working. I don't know. Maybe there's a lot more applications, but for it to extend to still 36 months, that's ridiculous. So what I'm trying to say, let me boil it down to this. Attorneys attorneys do not control the processing times with the government, right? I think you all know this, but when you get frustrated, some people like to blame attorneys. I get it. Okay. Well, here's the thing. You have to understand processing times. That's why I talk about it a lot. Okay. I'm trying to help out your attorney at the same time because some attorneys don't know how to explain very well, unfortunately. So 601A, whatever you see on the online USCIS.gov, I'm not saying your online account, okay, but .gov, that's fairly accurate for better or worse, sometimes for the worse. It might not actually take a full 36 months, for example, for the waiver, whatever it's stated there, even for the petition only. Let me show you petition only like this. It shows 17 months for petition only. That doesn't mean it will take 17 months. It's just saying 80, like it's giving the longest spectrum of the range in a sense for a reason, because they actually trying to delay your ability to submit an inquiry. That's how they do that. It's ridiculous. It's very, very frustrating. You're welcome, Alexander. You're welcome, Humpback Jelly. Y'all come up with some interesting usernames. You're welcome, Angine. Angine, it's time to party. I was gonna say get your pom poms on up, but I don't have pom poms. I only have magic wands. I got 2, by the way, just in case, double the magic. Gotta have fun, Gotta have a little fun. So, hey Rex, you don't have to tell me. Can you answer, please? I will try my best. You're down the line, I guess. I thought I answered your question the other day. Anyway, can you travel? I don't know. I'm just going to be upfront with y'all. Anyone has a question about travel, I can't really answer that question without a one-on-one meeting. I'm just be upfront. Like, you can't. I love answering questions, but please know this: if you're depending on information that you're going to rely on, it would behoove you. It would be in your best interest when you're going to make a significant decision, to schedule a meeting with an attorney. Like it just makes sense. I'm happy. I answer questions here because I'm happy to point you in the right direction. But if you're gonna depend on my answer of whether you can travel or not, please don't. I'm just be upfront, like because y'all know like the situation with travel is really case by case anyway. So so whether you have like a crime in the past, an arrest, yeah, you do need to check with attorney one to one to review the record. I cannot just give you like a blanket statement. That wouldn't be right for me, right? So that's why I do recommend in general, try to join the live show when I'm like here. Of course, if you're comfortable to share more information with everyone else listening. Okay. But if you got any kind of crimes, arrest, no attorney is going to answer your question on a live show. You got to have a scheduled meeting. um, let's see here. Okay, next question. Did I answer? Violet Sky, yes, we got your email, Violet Sky. Thank you so much. That though that is not. We don't have that information already prepared, but we have a team member working on it. It might take until next week. Are you trying to move ASAP? I suppose. Soccer lovers, you filed for VAWA as you've been economically abused by financially abused by your spouse. You want to file for divorce based on that abuse, but you can't hire a family attorney now. I don't want to assume maybe because of budget reasons or whatnot. Do you have any advice? You live in Cali. I don't know how the procedures work in Cali. I can share with you how it works in Texas. Maybe that can give some kind of indication how California does it. But well, in general, for VAWA and divorce, you don't for VAWA. Fortunately, they're cognizant when Congress passed this law, Violence Against Women Act, that it does not require divorce at the time that you file for VAWA. That's a wonderful thing because the timing and all that, some people just can't get the divorce done right now or even start it. So there is no requirement to provide a divorce petition or order at the time that you file. So that's a good thing. Wonderful. Okay. Um, maybe that's the kind of information you're hoping for. So there's a lot more information about VAWA. I think I have some videos about that and on TikTok. Fortunately, thank you for everyone's trust that you follow the channel. I was able to get to a certain threshold that allows me to save videos on certain topics as a playlist. So I think I did that last year. So man, time flies. It's already almost July. Can you believe it? By the way, real quick, if you're wondering about the Supreme Court case that just issued a decision today about birthright citizenship, it wasn't actually about birthright citizenship. It was more a procedural question. Okay. So the Supreme Court didn't mention anything about yes or no to end birthright citizenship. That technically in my opinion, from what I read, it's already been decided upon in the 1800s. So what is that, the 19th century? So yeah, I mean, but with the Supreme Court, you never know when. So, anyways, there's more a procedural issue, more about not to bore you guys, but it was more about whether a lower court, district court, can issue a sign off on a nationwide injunction, like a temporary block. The Supreme Court said no, we cannot do that. So, which is kind of crazy, right? Because immigration is federal law, so wouldn't it just be more efficient to be done anyway? Not to go into legalese argument about that. Technically, Supreme Court already did that. So, all right, let's answer some questions. Let's see. Well, let me answer Rex's question a bit more clarity now that I got to your actual question. You're arrested 5 years ago, no charge. Okay, that's good. And you disclosed it on your 485. I don't know what you mean by approved. Like your 485 was approved? Well, if you were actually approved and you have a resident status now, Rex, then yeah, you can travel. Um, but please know that even even if everything was like fine in a sense, like you already got your residency, it doesn't mean that customs will not stop you and ask you additional questions about it. And this might sound ridiculous, but like I would carry copies of your paperwork, your court disposition. Well, the thing if you in your situation, you don't even have a charge. So maybe something I know like counties have what do you call that? A clearance record. And a clearance record, I know it sounds silly to request it. It's kind of like a rap sheet. You're requesting a rap sheet, but it's empty, right? So that's what you want to show then, since you didn't have any charge. Excuse me, which is a great thing. Let's see here. By the way, if you do have questions to where maybe it's easy, maybe I could record a video about it. You could DM me, but we might ask you to just comment on a like any video. It doesn't whatever your question is, it doesn't even have to be on that same topic of a video. Just comment on one of them. It helps for engagement, by the way. Thank you. Let's see. That's what my marketing team tells me. Let me go to the next question. Let me go look at YouTube as well. Yasir asked, "Can I talk about the benefit of DV program?" We don't handle DVs, diversity visa, if that's what you're asking about. But I can tell you this at least one thing about DV, or in general. Do not lie on any application. We've had some meetings with some people, and they said, "Oh, they filed the application DV for the lottery, and they mentioned they didn't have any kids, they didn't have spouse, but then later on they got selected for lottery, they got the visa, they got residency, they became a citizen, and um, then they're like, can I apply and put my kids and sponsor them, my spouse? Mind blowing. You can't get the benefit yourself with and then not disclose about your family and then try to sponsor your family because they're going to get you for misrepresentation and try to even possibly revoke your citizenship. All right. Sorry, all. I have to go. It was a quick one today. It was already about 30 minutes, but thank you so much. I know there's a lot of questions. Please DM, send a question as a comment, and I appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Happy TJF. Have a good weekend.